welcome to Real and Uncomfortable. I'm your host, Elle. This is my co-host, C-Tez.
Yes,
and
sir.
my other co-host, the wonderful Eman.
First he's great, now he's wonderful.
Look.
He
You
is
just gotta let it be. Look,
He is
I appreciate you.
Because you are evil. I said what I said.
I ain't looking for no handouts to say no. Always stack high, stay low. Tryna level up, better get with us. Gotta keep it real, cause you know it's about to get real uncomfortable. Yeah, real and uncomfortable. It's about to get real uncomfortable. Yeah, real and uncomfortable.
Polygamy. How do you feel about polygamy?
Is there something that you could see yourself dibbling and dabbling into?
For me, no. I'm selfish. No. I like my person to myself. But, as I was saying before, I keep seeing this stupid post about, like, things not being like in our grandparents' generation. And, like I said before, soldiers would go off to another country, have a kid somewhere else, lay with other women, and then come back home and act like nothing happened. Social media just exposed what was already there. Ooh. Welcome back after these commercial breaks. No, I'm just kidding. We totally had a technical glitch. But back to what I was saying. So we did have like grandparents not sleeping in the same bed. Mm-hmm. We had like women staying in relationships that were abusive and not good for them because they financially needed to do so. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of things that even further back couldn't be in women's names. So it was more...
You go far enough, like women were actually considered property of their husbands.
Exactly.
So I totally get you. I understand. I do think social media did enough to expose things. Exactly. But I think at the end of it, when you talk about something like polygamy, you talk about something that's evident in every relationship is, are you happy with what's going on in it? Mm-hmm. Is that are you okay with the situation? And you said it yourself, like, for you it wouldn't work because you require a certain level of...
Check because she's selfish.
Yeah, she's selfish. I was going to try and make it sound a little better than that.
But see, I want to tap into that because a lot of times women, right, look, and I feel like people are going to hate me for this, and I'm not saying it to hurt anybody's feelings. But a lot of times, let's say you have a guy, right, living his best life. He's over here talking to this girl because she, offers something. He's over here talking to this girl because she could do something. He's young. He's living life, right? Then he gets this one girl who he sees a future where he sees she has potential. And that girl will ask him to just
shut off everything. Despite not being able to give those things that the other girl was doing.
And a lot of times women will I don't want to say pretend, but they'll try to paint this image of themselves to reel you in. And then once you're in, it's like, well, you're in, and now, here's the real me, and you got to accept that.
Before you get attacked.
No, I'm about to get attacked off this one.
Before you get attacked, though, like that's not just a female thing. Like, guys paint that first beautiful picture as well. Everybody wears a mask going into a dating situation. I know a lot of people like to think that they're real.
Am I agreeing with you? Ooh.
And that right there, you see that face right there, that's usually what lies behind the mask. So when you're going just make sure that you approach it with enough honesty and truth in what you enjoy for self, because that other person is going to try to give you whatever it is that they feel makes you happy.
But let's be honest. Like, let's say, like, most women, for example, I'm not speaking for myself. I've had conversations with guys. This is not about me. I'm happy in my relationship. But a lot of guys, it's like, let's say, for example, even with sex, right? When you first dating, it's there. You getting it every single time. It's on and popping. And then it goes from like 5 times a day to once a month to once every 3 months. And it's like, you knew when you got with the guy that his drive was up there, but now because you feel like we're in a relationship, it's just. All
right. What I will say is I think that it's very important to remember that it is true. Both men and women put up personas, facades of who they would like the other person to think they are. This is the face that they wear to other people too. This is the face that they give in their professional mode. However, this is how they want people to perceive them. But I feel like it's safe to say that society has created a way where we can't really be honest with each other about what we want.
It's true.
And when it comes to a man seeing a potential wifey. Like, oh yeah, I could really see myself. I don't really know that he's actually seeing what he really wants either. I think he's seeing what he sees would be good on paper.
Also,
Because
people
the
see
thing is
potential.
if you really exactly, but at the end of the day, if you really want it, that's what you want. Like if you want it, that's what you go for. If in the moment there's even a slight like, then that for the moment that's not for you. And that's the thing is that right now that's not a comfortable thing. People want to hold on to things because they don't want to lose them. They don't want to take that risk of, all right, I gotta let you go for now because right now that's not what I want. Like, I want you, but I don't want that.
No, I think we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about like the
You're talking about the fall off of a situation, like when you start here and then like slowly but surely. It's like I've even had female friends complain about their male counterpart, where it's like, this nigga used to bring me flowers,
Right.
He used to call
From
me
a
every
male
day.
yeah,
We had
right.
phone conversations all night, and then suddenly it's like I can barely get any word in edgewise with dude. So I get that, but in the same breath, guys have moments too where, like he said, if the sex drive was on 100 in the beginning, or like, she looked out for you here, there, in the next place, and now suddenly it's a burden to meet those needs. And I feel like, we got to be honest with ourselves and know that, like, in the beginning it is going to be that way. Like, it's going to be almost perfect. It's going to be as close to perfect as it can get. And slowly but surely, depending on circumstance or whatever, you're going to take a moment and lose things.
Well, wait, I will say this too. It's the same thing with friendships. It's the same thing with everything in general.
Shit gets in the way.
Exactly. It gets old. It gets tiresome. That and you have other things that become like, as you're developing in a relationship.
Now,
say you get married, you have kids, you want to buy a house, you have goals in mind. These are things that also impede the ability to be the same way when you were just chilling.
No, you're right. But see, with that though, that's why it is crucial that you're with somebody who is motivated, right? Like, I used to play ball, right? And the best ball players were always the ones who would deal with situations and not let it get in the way on their progression on how they got better at ball, right? They'd make time for practice. They'd make time for game time.
I would put that as not even just motivated though, but more so
motivated
a person
by your partner.
that really understands you for who you are. Because the things that motivate me and who I want as a significant other isn't necessarily the same thing that you want from your significant other.
That's true. But I mean, like, you got to identify what those things are, then identify that motivation to make that person happy and keep those things up. So say you had a rough day at work. Are you now going to get home and want to do absolutely nothing in regards to that person? Is it going to be like, again, I just need this time for myself, and then that's like a consistent thing? Don't get me wrong. I know everybody needs moments for
Everybody
self.
needs that.
Everybody needs that
needs
moment, that time to decompress. But are you going to let those situations or unhappiness at work impede the moments that y'all have together that your partner values? Because now you're taking away from them to the point where they might be like, why am I here?
100%. I mean, I was just playing devil's advocate with that question. Because from my perspective, I do agree. Like, you have to, if you really love somebody, you have to love them with the good and the bad. So it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be the glamorous side. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But
So
that's my whole thing with polyamory, though. If we can bring it
polygamy.
back to that.
Yeah.
That to me is something that you go in knowing. It's not because a lot of women too, like to put up this front because they want that man.
Right.
But if that man wants something that you don't want,
That you can't offer.
That is not for you at all. I'm sorry, but if dude tells me, oh yeah, I would like to have a threesome, and I know that
That's not in your wheelhouse.
It's not for you.
And let's be honest, right now at my age, 30 years old, I'm not doing that. I'm good. There might be a 30-year-old who is out there who wants to do that, who enjoys that kind of thing. But for me, that's not it. That's not what I'm looking for.
So what would you tell to the young ladies who do feel like they, if they're in a relationship with a guy that they want and who do feel pressured?
Honey, that man is not for you. That man is not for you. He's not what you want. He sounds like a good idea, and he looks like a good idea. You are very enthralled by him. He is gorgeous. but he's not for you. And there is somebody out there who is for you, who's just as gorgeous and has the attributes that you want. Same thing goes for the man looking for that, who finds a beautiful woman and wants her to be that.
Bro, if she's
Man.
asking you for Birkins and shit on the first date, my guy, that's not
Run.
your move, bro.
Don't look back.
Just
Run.
don't, just do yourself the favor. Don't try to keep up with the next man. I know we've seen the Young Thug videos and shit. You don't gotta do it, bro.
Because
You don't gotta do it.
there's another guy out there who will do that for her, and there's a woman out there who will appreciate everything that you can do for her.
Right.
Some of us just like simple.
Hold on, and as a guy, right? I've like realized that the bar is set so low for guys in terms of dating women that oftentimes we look at just merely the attraction, right? You look at merely maybe just the sexual or what they can do or how good they look in a dress. Right. You gotta realize, fellas, I know that, if you were a traditionalist like myself, you try to look at potentially being a provider or being in a position to do things for that woman. There's a lot of women out here who will do a lot of things for you. And I don't just mean that. Don't get your mind out the gutter, my nigga. Get your mind out the gutter. They'll do things as in back you up when it motivates you, make you feel important, make you feel, like my man E said, invincible. Right. They can do that for you. Some might be a little rude as shit, but they can do it.
Like me.
Nah. She troll it. She troll it.
Because if you only knew.
Yeah.
Hey, E, just as I walk to the parking lot, can you just come with me? Make sure that like nobody.
You'll be safe. You'll be safe. We
appreciate
good.
you,
We
buddy.
good.
We can't save them. Let y'all know right now we can't.
Well, besides all of that, I think polyamory is a good move for people who are ready for it and prepared for it. I can't really say that I've heard the most successful situations of it, but I can tell you that life is about experiences. And if that's something that you want to experience, I think you should go for it.
But I will say, in today's culture, it's rare that you hear about true polyamory. You're hearing
Right.
about people who want to try these things,
Right.
please their significant other.
Yeah.
I have heard of true polyamorous
Right.
people who it works.
Right.
Okay.
That is what they want, and they are completely happy with it.
Like polyamory going into polygamy.
But
Yeah, I mean,
I'm talking full blown wedding rings. That's what I mean. Like,
I will say that's another thing in this generation that's rare.
Right.
I mean, even in
The
general,
singular wedding rings,
exactly
right.
the just the monogamous kind is rare. So if you're looking at the polyamorous kind, it's not really happening that often. But again, it does work for those who actually believe in it. There are shows. I mean, if we're going outside of like urban communities and us, come on now.
What is it?
Come on, Sister Wives.
Sister Wives is a show. I believe it takes place in a Mormon community or something
Yes.
like that. Yeah,
Yes.
where.
And those are polygamous.
But it works for them because I
and
mean
they have plenty of babies. They share their husband. And
Right.
They're perfectly content with what they do.
Now
Right.
here's my thing too. Do you think that culture influences that? Because
Definitely.
I don't know
Definitely.
if think about. I mean, not for nothing. Our culture is a little bit more materialistic. I mean, like hip hop culture, millennial culture, whatever you want.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it definitely does, but not definitively. So it definitely does. Yes, you see these things in front of your face because they're put in front of your face, but not definitively because no. At the end of the day, something has to feel right and resonate with you. There are people who leave the Mormon community. There are people who leave Jewish communities, who escape communities that these traditions just don't feel right
make sense
for
to
them.
them.
Right.
So what makes sense for you will not ultimately always be what you're brought into, but that is a choice.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's this super deep version, like you just mentioned, where people have to literally almost run for their lives to escape some communities. But I just mean like on the superficial level, like, do I gotta worry about wife 1 and 2 going to the club versus
Oh no,
like,
that I feel like that still works for that. Definitely, yeah, because it's what you see, which is why there are a lot of women who will try. Yeah, I'm down for a threesome, and then next thing you know, they're trying to murder the person, the other woman,
person, yeah.
the man.
I swear I got that from Jerry Springer.
It's that type of thing. Yeah, it definitely does, but definitively, no, it's not one of those things where it's like, yes, this absolutely is what works for me because I've seen it put in my face.
Okay.
Interesting.
Lion.
I plead the fifth.
I ain't looking for no handouts to say no. Always stack